doing?
Good.
Good. First order of business, if you're good and you're able, can we please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So good evening and thank you for joining us, whether you're here in person or viewing this presentation virtually or watching the recording later on. Tonight is a part of our series that we have, Mayoral Town Halls. We usually do 3 each year on various topics. The most frequent topics we do are volunteering in Denellen, usually in April. This time frame, we usually do it on emergency services and storm preparedness. And then December, on December 10th, we're having one on redevelopment in Denellen. So thank you for being here. Tonight's discussion is going to focus on a topic that impacts each and every one of us, emergency services and preparedness. Emergency services present themselves in many different ways, as we know, from accidents to fires, and as we all experienced this past summer, severe weather that results in flooding. While these are situations we hope to never have to be in, the reality is that they do happen, and being prepared can make all the difference. Denellen is incredibly fortunate to have dedicated teams of first responders and emergency services that are ready at the moment's notice to jump into action. Whether it's in the middle of the night, during a major storm, or in the midst of an unexpected emergency, they are ready and they are professionals. Behind every quick response and coordinated effort are hours of training, planning, and collaboration. Tonight we'll hear directly from the representatives from the Denellen Rescue Squad, Office of Emergency Management, Police Department, and Fire Department. And we'll have a little talk about the Red Cross, who's been very helpful to us. They will all share details on how their departments prepare for emergencies, their roles during these critical situations, and how residents can stay informed and ready. Together, this team here keeps Denellen safe, strong, and prepared for the challenges we face. Now I'd like to welcome Chief Jeff Best of the Denellen Rescue Squad to begin tonight's presentation. Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, everyone. The Denellen Rescue Squad has been responding in this community since 1933. We have 2 ambulances and multiple crews of well-trained people. To do what we do isn't easy. If you come to join us, if you want to join our department, it's going to take a minimum of 3 months to do just basic training. And then there's 6 months worth of classroom training as well. But to be really good as an EMT, it's going to take you years of experience. Now, we're ready to come at any time. We're ready to respond to your needs, your medical needs, your injuries and illnesses. But we're going to be talking today about disaster preparedness. When we're looking at disasters that happen in our town, there's 2 different classifications. There's a personal disaster, and then there's a region-wide problem. In personal disasters, this is an amazing community. If your house burns down, people in this community are going to come and flood in, and they're going to help you with everything that they possibly can. I'm very proud of what I have seen out of the people of Denellen. But what happens when it's a region-wide disaster? And this town's dealt with those. We've had a pandemic that was ripping through the entire globe. We've had flooding that's collapsed multiple houses at a time. What do we do when the disaster hits everybody simultaneously? We have a large community. And the number one thing is that I have to tell the public is we're happy to come and try to save you, but don't be a victim. Emergency Services doesn't like telling everyone if a disaster is coming that you need to leave your houses. I've sat in those meetings. We're reluctant. We want to make sure that we're not crying wolf and telling you to get out of danger's way too early while the disaster passes us and nothing happens. But at the same time, when we make that decision and we tell you that you have to go, please, if I can ask any people to do anything, it's get up and go. Don't be in harm's way. Several years ago, when we had one of our famous storms, our governor was on television telling people, get off the beach. You're done tanning, leave now. No one's coming to save you. We want to, but let's be honest, with a town that's got over 7,000 people living in it, we can't get to everyone. And the people that survive disasters the best are the ones that are resilient and are not the victims. Several things come into play in this. The first thing people ask me when they've survived through a disaster is, where am I going to go? Have that plan already made. Know where you're going to go. Have an idea where you can go outside the community if something is coming. I know we all want to stay and protect our property, but things can be replaced and people can't. Our rescue squad concentrates on human beings. You are what we save. You are the ones that we are going to take care of. Stuff can be replaced. Human beings are important. If you have to leave, or if you're going to stay, make sure that you have the resources to be able to take care of yourself. When the roads are clogged and no help can come, we watched this during Hurricane Sandy. 2 weeks we went without power in our community. Pharmacies are going to be closed. Nobody's there to sell you medications. Talk with your doctor. Make sure you have a 2-week supply of it in advance. If you need to be on home oxygen, the power company isn't going to be able to restore power just to your house. Make sure that you have oxygen tanks available or backup power sources if you have to stay in this area. Because when a disaster like Hurricane Sandy happens, the hospitals are filled. The shelters are filled. Don't be someone that we have to take the time in the room for. Let us stick to the people that are the most critical when we're responding. Yes, we have 2 ambulances. We're happy to come in there, but we would much prefer that you not need us. The best night for us, or the best day for us, is when the pagers don't go off. So make sure that you're not a victim. Do whatever you can to protect yourselves. If you need us, we'll come.
Next up, we're going to hear from our OEM coordinator, Homer Mosley, who's going to discuss with you about the Office of Emergency Management and Service.
Good evening, everybody. The Office of Emergency Management has several functions, but the most important functions is that we coordinate emergency responses. OEM mission is to help keep the Netherlands community safe. And how do we do that? It's through our EOPs, the Emergency Operation Plans. Those plans are compiled by having emergency services such as the police, fire, EMS, even our one of our partners, even DPW. So we put together these plans so that we have them ready in an emergency. We're also involved with emergency preparedness. So you might have seen us at different fairs where we distribute a lot of literature, trying to get the community to be resilient. And resource management. Should an event exceed our capability in town, then what we do is we go to adjacent municipalities, and if adjacent municipalities can't help us, we then go to the county, and then to the state, and eventually to the feds. Hopefully we don't get to that point. But one of the things that we do is we coordinate resource requests. OEM goals are to prevent, protect against, mitigate, respond, and recover from disasters. If you, as you know, when we have had some flooding, we actually help individuals and the government get needed reimbursement for disasters. So that's part of our recovery efforts. You may see doing damage assessments, because one of the things in terms of you be able to to get these reimbursements, you have to exceed a certain threshold. So we're out there doing damage assessment. OEM works with the mayor and the council, first responders, nonprofits, and non-government and other agencies. Example of this would be, let's say, when we establish a shelter or reception area at St. John's. That's a religious institution. So we believe in a whole community approach, okay? And as the mayor mentioned, the American Red Cross is another non-government agency that we work with. So we partner with a lot of different folks in order to accomplish our mission. We also have what we call CERT, Team, Community Emergency Response Team. I have a couple of, actually myself, I'm part of that team. My spouse, Georgia Mosley, is part of that team. And Joe Cummins, who is also one of my deputies, is part of that team. We have about, I said we graduated a class of 17. So they help in terms of responding to disasters. CERT volunteers are trained to help themselves, their families, their neighbors. They go through an 8-week training period in which they learn certain skills, such as how to put out a fire, how to do life search and rescue. When I say put out fire, let me use a fire extinguisher correctly. Life search and rescues, how to carry victims from disaster areas, how to do some triage. So they actually help to supplement our first responders. At the end of that 8-week program, they receive a certificate. Now they have the opportunity, we always talk about CERT training is for everybody, but however, if you want to join a team, there's a formal process, and then as a result of joining the team, they get further education. CERT focuses on preparedness, education, and assisting the community at events. Okay, since this is preparedness, I just want to go through this very quickly. There's a lot of details behind this, and if you want more details about these 12 ways to prepare before disaster, you have to contact CERT or OEM. I'm not going to even give you the phone number because I want you to go to that website. Our Denellen website is very important. It has a lot of information, and you really need to visit that. So first of all, sign up for alerts and warning. We have a thing called e-notify, so sign up for that. Make a plan. Save for a rainy day. Practice emergency drills. Test family communication plan. Okay? Safeguard documents. Plan with neighbors. Make your home safer. Make sure you have smoke detectors, CO detectors. Know evacuation routes. In case you have to evacuate, you should know the routes. Assemble or update supplies. Chief Best mentioned the fact that you should have a supply of medications. You may want to have a go kit in terms of water, not only for yourself, but for your pets. So there are supplies, there are what we call a go kit, and you want more information again, notify us, we'll help you with that. Get involved with your communities. We're always looking for more volunteers, especially what we want to do is concentrate on shelters. We need a shelter staff, in which will train you to operate a shelter, send you away, and maybe bring you back 6 months later. So it's not a long-term commitment, but we also need to know that we have a cadre of ready volunteers in case we have to open up a shelter, such as the one we did with St. John's. And make sure that you have documents to insure your property. Make sure you have flood insurance. Okay, so that's very quickly. Want more information about how to prepare for disasters, please contact OEM CERT.
Thank you, Homer. Okey doke. Next up is the Denellen Police Department. We have Detective Sergeant Nicholas Goldman and Lieutenant John Doherty.
Thanks for coming. Let's try to keep this brief. The police department is uniquely situated in emergency response in that we're the only one of these agencies that's staffed 24/7, meaning that we're almost always the first ones on scene and ensuring that resources are appropriately dispatched. We have a lot of unique roles to protect life and property. It's not just crime enforcement. We're going to floods, we're going to fires, we're going to the medical calls. You know, you never know if going to medical call is actually going to be a domestic violence incident. Scene safety for the other emergency responders.
It's actually a picture of Detective Goldman.
A couple years ago. But we work with the other agencies, and a lot of us bring other experience to the table. We have officers that were or are EMTs, were or are volunteer firefighters, and we work together with the other agencies for a unified command. And our dispatchers, we're the eyes and the ears on the road. They're the lifeline on the other end of the radio. They're the ones that are going to call out OEM, call out the fire department, and make sure that the appropriate resources actually do come to the scene. We also have tons of training, plenty of drills, active shooter, things like that, medical recertifications. Those things happen on a yearly basis. Also flooding roads too. We're also the ones that work with DPW to make sure that the appropriate amount of barricades, they have something like 80 barricades, and we know the roads that flood, we know when they're starting to flood. Please, if there's flood waters and there's cones there, they're probably there for a reason. Every one of these floods, we end up with 20 or 30 cars floating in the water that get towed out 2 days later. It's frustrating, but it happens every single time. And I told you to be quick. If anybody has any questions, if not, that's it.
Next up is the Denell Fire Department, Chief Bill Scott, who also serves as a councilman here in Denell.
Just hold that for 3 minutes.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
All right, so welcome to everybody, also those watching online. So the Denell Fire Department, first thing is our mission is to provide the residents of Denell with a highly trained and efficient fire suppression organization. So who are we? We're all volunteer. We've been here since 1896. So we've been here a while, nice new facility now. We're comprised of residents of Denellen and neighboring residents within 3 miles. We have a rule you have to live within 3 miles of the town. Over the past year, we've seen an influx of new residents joining the department. We've probably put on about 12 or 13 new members from age 16. I think our one member might be a little over 55. So anybody's able to join as long as you can pass the physical to be a firefighter, and we welcome new members as well. So emergency preparedness, we're a daily state of readiness. As like the police, our equipment, which is downstairs, it's always ready to go. We're a little over a couple hundred calls this year. One of the next slides has the actual number. Constantly checking the equipment, monthly drills, training, initial firefighter 1 training for all new members. The state now agrees the number of hours, so it's 198 hours for a new member to become a firefighter. That's sometimes 3 nights a week, 3 hours a night. We have members that just started in September and they're graduating in about March. So it's a long time of training, but you're actually going into fires. You know, like police are going into shootings, we're going into active fires. Today was one in Piscataway. We just helped them out before this call. We do regular inspections and testing on the apparatus. Every year, the apparatus gets inspected by a third party to make sure everything's in top shape, ready to go. And we use the National Incident Management System, or NIMS, to guide every emergency. I saw the police had a slide up on that as well. So that's what guides us how we work, the chain of command, the order of operations, and et cetera. So we're actually up to 406 calls now since I made this slide, which is a high for Denellen. Normally we run about 200, but this year with the storm we touched on in July, the 2 storms combined was a little over 120 calls in 1 month. So normally we run about 30 calls a month. So we were out there, floods, wires down, trees cutting houses in half, you know, just about everything you can imagine. We do everything from structure fires, motor vehicle fires, car accidents, extrication, alarm activations, hazardous materials, people trapped in elevators, wires down in electrical hazards, gas leaks, flooding, structures and vehicle. We remove people from both. And in tree emergencies, as I mentioned, the storm, 2 houses were literally cut in half. And we have a lot of good intent calls. I smell smoke. Everybody has a chimney now, everybody smells smoke. We go and we check that out, make sure it's legal. There's probably about a dozen other calls I didn't put on here, but pretty much if the police determine they need us to come out, our members are responding out. And how can you volunteer? Again, I touched on it. If you're between 16, if you're above 16 years of age, 16 to 18, you can be a junior member. 18 and above, as long as you pass that physical, no matter how old you are, you can be a full firefighter, and you can go to fire school and get trained. We do also have a secondary membership called associate members. Those that feel they can't physically perform the firefighting duties, they can apply to become an associate, which helps out with our fundraisers, our social end of the department, non-emergency events. Those are limited in numbers, but we do accept associate members. And for those that are looking to join, the benefit is all training is provided free. We pick up all the required training. It's required for us to get you on board and get you certified. And many of our current and past members have gone on for careers in public safety. We've had police officers, career firefighters, office emergency management, EMTs, and more. And anybody who wants more information, our website, denellandfd.com, or you can email us at joindfd@denellandfd.com.
Okay, before we wrap up for the evening, get the Q&A. Just know the Denellen Fire Department, the Rescue Squad, OEM Search, all volunteer organizations that you can be a part of. Want to be a police officer, well, there's other training and accreditation you got to get to, and then apply for the job because they're paid. So, but
And we're hiring.
well, and they're hiring right now. So, but I just want to bring up American Red Cross and give them a thank and a shout out for their efforts in their emergency response here in Denellen back in July. As we know, we experienced 2 major storms in less than 2 weeks that left behind fallen trees, widespread outages, and damage and flooding. Following the July 14th storm, the Red Cross collaborated with St. John's Evangelist Church, Denellen OEM, and my office as well as other offices to coordinate an emergency shelter at St. John's where 18 people were able to find refuge from the storm that evening. In the following days, they would also set up a tent at the George Hodgson Fire Department we're at right now, where they distributed cleanup kits, water, snacks to residents in need, and offered several free hot meals to those affected by the flooding. Throughout the days they spent in Denellen, they distributed approximately 300 cleanup kits to help with recovery efforts. Finally, they conducted disaster assessments throughout the borough to help determine how many families were displaced and what additional support was needed. Their rapid response and continued coordination played a vital role in rebuilding from the storm, and their continued outreach helps us remain prepared for future emergencies. So just a shout out to them for all the efforts that they did and continue to do, and the partnerships that they provide with municipalities. So let's give them and all those up here tonight a round of applause for their efforts. Oh, so that concludes that. But we'll open the floor to any comments or questions if anybody has them for the emergency departments that are up here. Palmer, you have a question?
Well, it's a question, it's more of a comment, very quickly.
Hold on.
Okay, because I know that we had limited time and I tried to rush through my presentation, I will be remiss if I did not introduce Autumn Barbado, who is my Director of Community Engagement. And Autumn plays a very vital role in terms of educating the public through our social media platforms in terms of how to prepare. She also sends out alerts and warnings in collaboration with PIO. So I just wanted to make sure that I recognize a very important part of our staff, Autumn Barbado.
Great job, Autumn. Anybody in the audience or joining us virtually have any questions or comments for the individuals that are up here?
I just want to say thank you to all of you for what you do, keeping the town safe and getting us prepared for the worst. But seriously, thank you to everyone in the room for what you do.
Thank you for those kind words. Thank you. Okay, without further ado, we thank everybody for participating this evening. Our next town hall is on redevelopment in Denellen. And Billy, that's December 10th, correct? At 7 p.m. at the George W. Hodgson Firehouse, which we're happy is finally up and running. So thank God for that. Okay, God bless everyone. Thank you.